Hi, friends. This is Jim. Thanks for joining me on January the 9th, 2024. Going to talk about a tornado that happened in 1974 that could possibly have wiped me out for good. It was such a big deal that they made a book out of it. The Courier Journal and Louisville Times contracted to have a book made about the big tornado. Well, I had pneumonia that day. I was working and I was told to go home that I looked too bad. I should go and see a doctor. I went to the doctor that day. It was the day of the tornado. But it was, I would say near noon. I went to the doctor. I had double pneumonia. I packed up a suitcase and I went to a hospital. And because I had cheap insurance from what I had bought from the university, I was at the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, they sent me home. So I went home. I suspect I had a prescription, but I don't have a memory of that. What I do remember is I had no idea that my dad had made arrangements to pick me up at the dormitory. I was in a dormitory, a private room at the seminary, and I woke up at his home in a bedroom, and I was listening to the music. It was on WFPL, I believe, which was a easy listening music station. I'm going to get my Coke here, and it'll help calm my throat down a little bit. So I heard him say on there that this tornado went through Louisville and it tore up quite a bit. And when I say it tore up quite a bit, it lifted cars off the expressway, twisted them up. It took houses and demolished them, took trailers and just flattened them, this type of thing. I was sitting listening to this wondering if it was really true. Because I was drifting in and out of sleep from pneumonia, double pneumonia. I remember that quite well because it was the last semester, or the last half of the year at the seminary, and they allowed all of us to graduate if we were in the last half of the year. We all graduated. No one failed because we couldn't have classes, so nobody could take a test, a final test, or anything like that. So for me, that ended up being a good thing. From there, I took about a month to 2 months to recuperate. I'd never since then felt as sick. I remember trying to cut the grass in my dad's yard. After 5 minutes, I was drained. I hardly could move. That's how bad I felt. Time went on, And I worked at several churches. I was never what you call a one of these great, dynamic, charismatic TV evangelists. I never got to that status. Neither did I strive to. I was told if I would, if I just go on TV like the other evangelists were, that I could make all the money I wanted. Somehow money didn't excite me that much. I was also doing other things like writing poetry books. And selling them nationwide. I really hoped to be a writer, and was doing quite well. Actually, I would go and speak at different colleges, their classes, their auditoriums. They'd have reserved for me to speak. One had wine and cheese afterwards for a get together to get to know the people that I spoke to. So things didn't work quite out the way I hoped they would as far as writing. So I stayed in the ministry, and then I went through some ups and downs. I taught at a religious school called Evangel School. It was Assemblies of God. I'm trying to remember all the different things I've done over the years. What I remember most is that I had to go back. I didn't have to go back. I did go back to another university named Spalding University to become a clinical psychologist, because I did better on a one-to-one or a family, working with a family or working with a drug addict, than I did. I was more comfortable. I wasn't what you call filled with anxiety and depression, as I might have been speaking to a great number of people. You may not know this about me, but I'm very shy. I am not outgoing. So I do great on a one-to-one or even on a group basis, but not with so many people in front listening to every word I'm saying, trying to pick one thing they can criticize. Oh, and I heard that they do with a lot of ministers. They criticize them. I don't remember that happening to me. But I do remember living through the tornado. Let me tell you something funny about the tornado. They had it on TV for days, and there was a car. Cars were squashed. People were all killed in the cars, crunched up. Same in trailers, same in houses. This one car was lifted off the Waterson Expressway in Louisville, and it was just moved over maybe a mile over. and set down on all four wheels without any damage. And I remember seeing this on TV. They said, they interviewed the four people in the car. The guy says, I don't know about this being true, but I think this was a miracle. That's the only thing I remember on TV. I think it's a miracle. There's no damage to our car. Moving it from the expressway to 1 mile over and setting it flat on four wheels with no damage. Well, I'll end by telling you something you and I both may relate to. You have sleeping problems? I do. 3 nights ago, I didn't fall asleep until about 7 o'clock. I could not figure out why. Because I do take a formula of medications over the counter to try to fall asleep. This time I didn't fall asleep, and 7 o'clock in the morning, I finally wake up and I think, does anyone else have this problem? The last semester that I was at the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, there was a sign up. No one outside the seminary saw that sign. It said Billy Graham's going to be speaking in the chapel service. Each day we had a chapel service for 1 hour during lunch. If you wanted to go. Wasn't required. I went to it, and people got to ask him questions. And I'll never forget. I thought, this is a guy after my own heart. Someone said, do you ever have problems sleeping? He said, I always have a problem sleeping. He said, I many times don't sleep, and I take that as a sign that God wants me to get up and pray for people, so I get up and fix the coffee and pray for people. I felt so good, and guess what? I got to shake his hand on the way out. That was an honor. And that's how I'm going to end this thing, is saying it's okay if you have personal problems, sleeping problems. He thought he was going to die way before he did. And did you know he didn't want to be an evangelist? At first, he wanted to be a ball player. I think it was a baseball player. You can do a little research on that. And he went to some revival. And the rest is history. He's like you and me. The only difference is he died a few years ago at age 99. He couldn't sleep. I can't sleep. We got something in common. And that's how I'm going to end. And thanks for watching.